When you want a synth sound, you want it fast and you want it awesome. You want it to sound cool, intriguing, interesting. Personally, I think Arturia's V collection has you absolutely covered for this. It is my go-to sound source for any kind of synth work. If I'm looking for inspiration, if I'm looking for a sound to throw into a score, this is probably where I'm looking first. I'm going to show you what I mean through a track that I created using almost only Arturia sounds. Let's check it out and this awesome collection of sounds. Hey, my name is Steve, composer, engineer, and lecturer, and welcome back to the channel. There are so many software synth options when it comes to VSTs and software-based synth sounds out there. You are spoiled for choice. I have quite a lot of them, but I think one collection that I keep coming back to time and time again is Arturia's V collection. It's now up to, I think, V collection number 9, but the sounds have always been awesome, right from when I think I had V collection 7. It sounds incredible and has every synth sound I could possibly want or imagine. There are virtual instruments for analog synths, for digital synths. There are keyboards and pianos, as well as other string and voice instruments that they've started to broach into. There are over 9,000 presets. And with all of these sounds, you have incredible control over them. If you're overwhelmed by the sheer number of instruments that come in this collection as well, there's actually an instrument that will help you out with that too. It's called VLab and it's awesome. Basically, it takes presets from all the different instruments and throws them all in together. You can browse by instrument, by sound type, by purpose, such as bass or lead, and find exactly the sound that you're looking for. And then if you want to tailor it a little bit more, you can click on the instrument itself, open it up, and then go tweaking that particular instrument. This is absolutely fantastic when it comes to trying to dive into presets and find that sound that you're looking for. Instead of opening up individual instruments or knowing how that synth sounds before you go into it, you could just open up VLab, browse all the different presets, and away you go. Every instrument has a tutorial built straight into it, so you can at any time learn how the instrument works. This is great for finding little hidden features or how all the different knobs and controls work. And the interfaces are beautiful, well designed, clearly laid out, and wonderful for inspiration to work with. While it is a pricey collection, there are many ways to actually break into the software market with Arturia. You can get the software collection at any time, but Arturia do take part in a lot of the major sales from what I can see. Black Friday, for instance, recently passed, and they definitely had some great specials on software there. Also, if you buy one of their keyboards, you get VLab for free a lot of the time, or certain different other instruments for free, like the pianos. That's often a great way to test out some of the presets, get access to VLab and some of the functions within there, and then later on look at upgrading if you want a particular instrument or a particular sound, or want some more control over those presets. You don't have to buy the whole collection, you can buy specific instruments if you're just after specific sounds. And Arturia do seem to look after their users quite well. Often they are throwing discounts on top of already discounted prices if you own a particular product or own a particular thing. So they're looking after their customers, which I think is quite nice. It's one of my favorite software and hardware developers. I use them a lot and I have a lot of their stuff. But rather than just kind of flick through lots of different synths and playing random notes on them, why don't I actually show you a track I use mostly all Arturia instruments for? Let's check it out and see some of the sounds that they can do. So the track I want to share with you is Twilight Sunset, and you can find a link for that down below in my SoundCloud. It was a piece I was actually commissioned for, and I was asked to create a synth wave type track, something that had a little bit of a Stranger Things edge to it, but kind of inspired by 80s synthwave. What better purpose does Arturia serve than providing everything I needed for this track? So looking at this session, you can see a lot of different instruments, and pretty much all of them, apart from these swells and some of the percussion down here, they're all Arturia instruments, and all the different synths that come in it. So let's take a look at what some of these sound like. Again, if you want to hear the full track, jump into the SoundCloud link below, but I'm just going to play snippets of each of these instruments for you. So the actual lead is this wonderful sort of synth sound from the DX7, a very famous digital synthesizer, an FM synthesizer. And if I just play a little bit here, really cool sound. And I love towards the end there where the mod wheel was sort of creeping up and adding that little bit of extra brightness and kind of just cool sound. Really cool. Along with this lead is actually this second DXM synth sound, something a little bit more tame though. Those sorts of bell-like synth sounds were very popular from the DX7 and was one of the things that made it so well known. You can see that it's really impeccably emulated here with the Arturia stuff as well. So you've got that classic sound at your fingertips in a kind of convenient software package, allowing you to do things like MIDI programming and tweaking it after the performance and that sort of stuff. It's really, really cool. Also got another bell-like lead here. Those delays are just gorgeous, that kind of glassy-like texture. And you can see that I'm really loving the DX7 for a lot of these lead passages. They're beautiful. Some of the other stuff that I've got going on down here, like this CZ, is actually from the V-Lab collection. So I've actually been using this V-Lab or Analog Lab as a way of kind of finding different sounds. And I landed on this one as a little bit of a sparkles sound. Really beautiful texture, right? Just love the way that it just kind of fills out the space with a little embellishment for the track. And at any time, if I wanted to, I could open CZ specifically and do some more further tweaking and adjustment beyond the controls that I have down here in Analog Lab. So it's absolutely very convenient, very awesome. I do love this counterlead line here, another one from V-Lab. And basically I use the Matrix 12, which is this really powerful synthesizer that's got a lot of bells and whistles. Let's take a listen to what this one sounds like. A common thing with all these synths, their atmosphere is just wonderful. As you open up that preset, you just know what you're going to play based on the sound. It's just fantastic. Down here in the chord sections, I've got a DX7 playing the classic E piano or electric piano sound. That kind of creates the bed of the track, which is quite nice. And then I have these two Juno synths, and the Juno synths are absolutely fantastic. They are basically Roland synths, classic ones from the 80s that you'll recognize immediately. It's a really cool texture, those two together add something a little bit extra and very nice with the E piano too. I have some more Juno stuff as well. This one sounds quite nice. You can see that taking use of the modulation there. And another one of my all-time favorite synthesizers has to be the Jupiter synth, the Jupiter 8. These things are just fantastic, a classic 80s sound. And they create a really awesome texture. I love them for bass, and I'll show you that in a minute, but these pad textures are really lovely too. Honestly, this track was just all about stacking vibe in a way. It's just lots and lots of little pieces that together made this really, really cool sound and texture. Down here, I've got some of the Jupiter synths as well, working with arpeggiators, and that works quite nicely together, I think. Both of them together sound a little bit like this. Just a really cool texture together, particularly as that kind of allows a little bit of drive, a little bit of pulse to the track coming in there. Later on, I actually have a Jupiter 8 synth coming in with another type of arpeggiator, which is this one here. You You can see I set that one to random, so it's just all over the place and has this like buzzy-like quality to it, which I think works quite well. Now, the Jupiter synth, the Jupiter 8 on bass is just phenomenal. I love it so much. One of my favorite sounds. And I've used both an arpeggiator to create little pulses, just on a single note, but also mixed in with the gorgeous bass evolving type sound. Check this out with these two synths. Just like, if you're listening to that on headphones or speakers, you'll feel it and it feels good. Now, one thing that I have a little complaint about is the fact that they just don't have very much percussion. And I think that's because synth percussion is not quite the sort of aim of the collection, maybe. They do have some quite good kicks though, and I definitely used one of those in this. And they've got, 909 kits, 808 kits and that sort of thing. So you can find synthesized toms, snares, kicks, all sorts. I just think it doesn't have quite as much of a wow factor as the rest of their synth sort of collections. I'd love to see some more percussion type things, or an instrument that actually is a dedicated percussion machine or something like that. That would be really, really cool. However, VLab serves its purpose again. This synth kick track just creates a sort of heartbeat kick. And I love creating that heartbeat kick. And given the brief being, hey, can you make a Stranger Things like track? It kind of felt essential. You'll feel that more with speakers and headphones, but that is something that's just like dotted in there. And then I've used battery from Native Instruments to fill out the rest with some additional percussion stuff. As we progress though, we start to get some of the more aggressive synths in there, the Moogs, the Prophets, and let me show you some of those. So the lead lineup here, for instance, is from the famous Mini Moog D model. So that stacked at that moment in the climax of the song and the kind of the main section of it, the bulk of it, just adds so much grittiness and flavor to it. And I actually stack it with some other sounds too. This synth, the Prophet 5, is also a very well-known synth from the 70s and really shaped the way that synthesis was going in the sense that we use presets right now for all of this. I certainly have. And presets just weren't a thing before this synthesizer. So this is a huge groundbreaking synth and sounds wonderful too. So when I stack that Jupiter, the Prophet, and the Mini Moog all together, they're playing the same line, but the textures just intermingle in a great way and create a really strong lead section that just cuts through the rest of the track. A couple of little classic lines, actually from not a Prophet and a DX7. They're both from DX7. I've labeled that incorrectly, but both of them here just adding a little bit of something. So those two patches together just create something kind of cool, particularly out the sides there, the stereo image as we come out of the main section of the track and start to die away a little bit. Using the DX7 as well, I realized that my kind of like go-to synths from this collection would be the DX7, the Jupiter 8, the Juno, and the other one probably just being the VLab or the Analog Lab, because that is kind of the main one that I use for preset searching, definitely. Which links to all of them because they're all great. And that's, I think, my point, is that there's just a fantastic collection that gives you so much. So there's a little bit of a tour of some of the instruments that I used in this track and some of the instruments that you have available to you in the Arturia V collection. If you want to check out the track, it's linked below. It's called Twilight Sunset and it's on my SoundCloud. And if you want to check out the collection, head over to arturia.com. It's a fantastic collection and I think one of my most worthwhile purchases. Could be yours too, but it's entirely up to you. If you want to see more of my favorite libraries, some of the software that I use or some of the tracks that I create, why not consider subscribing? It's definitely a great time to do so. Plenty more on the way. But otherwise, I will catch you in the next one.